The
question is about self-acceptance or self-worth. And this is a common human problem. Because as human beings, we are self-conscious beings, and therefore we are always, and judging being, our mind always judges. So we judge everything and everybody. But the first entity I come in contact with is my own self, because I am a self-conscious being. So it starts with self-judgment. Every human being is a self-judgment. And mostly it is not a very rewarding self-judgment. Most people have a low self-esteem. There will be degrees of how low their esteem is, but and it comes from comparison also, because we have a mind that has a habit of comparing. And so I judge myself based on, what I think is a standard based on the comparing with others. So this low self-esteem, lack of self-acceptance is a common human situation. It's a matter of degree. And when that lack of self-acceptance reaches a point, then becomes a problem. Otherwise, it's always there with everybody. Within a certain limits, it's not a problem. It's there. But this is a very common situation of comparing with others, having an ideal, judging ourselves, and the basic judgment is inadequate. That's the human judgment. It's a matter of degree of inadequacy. So answer to this and any other problem is self-acceptance. By self-acceptance, we do not mean that you try to condone, limitations or problems. But basically accepting myself as I am. That's what I am. See, I do not have freedom different from what I am. I have freedom to change myself, but right now what I am is what I am. And therefore, I need not take the responsibility of my limitation. That's what I have. Everybody has in their own ways. It's a matter of recognizing the limitation and as objective as we can without identifying or without blaming. I am limited because I am so and so. No, I am what I am. The first step. Yes, that I am limited. And someone is maybe better than me, but understand that nobody is better in every aspect. Someone is better in some aspect, somebody is better, you are better in other aspects. So you may be feeling a little jealous of somebody, and that same person may feel jealous of you in some other aspect. And so comparison, feeling inadequate, and resulting jealousy sometimes is very common in everybody. And person doesn't become free even when he reaches there. The stories are there, our devatas also sometimes feel that way, of how great he is, how much respect he receives, and so forth. So, by self-acceptance, we mean that basically I am born a limited being. I am a great being in a way. We have a lot of powers given to us by the Lord. Word of Pujya Swamiji, power to will, power to act, power to know. In Sanskrit, Jnana Shakti, Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti. Jnana Shakti, power to know. Ichha Shakti, power to will. Kriya Shakti, power to act. That we all of us have in various degrees. And I may be good in one way, Jnana Shakti in one way, that I may be good in arithmetic and not good in calculus and so forth. બધામાં હોય છે અને બધામાં મર્યાદા પણ હોય છે. એટલે we have to accept the basic reality that I am a limited being and I am not the only one. This is a common characteristic. But I may be limited, more limited in a given way, and somebody may be less limited in that way, but that doesn't mean that person is superior to me in every way. Even if they are there, good, respect them and congratulate them. Yoga Shastra, this is how the attitudes are given. Maitri, Mudita, Karuna, Upeksha. Maitri means friendship. Mudita being happy. Karuna means having compassion. Upeksha being indifferent. So 4 kinds of people will come across. People who are similar to us, like us, Maitri, a friendship with them. People who are better than us, Mudita, be happy for them. People are not as good as us, have Karuna. And people who are antagonistic to us, Upeksha, be indifferent. So, 4 kinds of people. We come across these 4 attitudes are given to us. Maitri, Mudita, Karuna, Upeksha. Friends with equal. Karuna with less than us. Mudita, people with better than us. Upeksha, people antagonistic to us. Equal to us, Maitri. Better than us, Mudita, happiness. Less than us, Karuna. Antagonist with Upeksha. So these are the attitudes they ask us to cultivate. When we interact with people, better than me, good, be happy for his accomplishment. What if I was in that place, how happy would I have been? So identify that way with that person and participate in the happiness and glory that that person has as much as we can. And no problem in what people who are equal to us, similar to us, make friends with them. Because then you won't have any complexes. People not as good as you, not that you don't make friends with them, but have Karuna. Be compassionate to them. They are as fortunate as I am, not as gifted as I am, in certain ways. Upeksha, antagonistic is ignored. So, this complex, self-complex is a very common, it is the characteristic of human being. Nobody is free from that. And usually we are not very, our self-worth is not usually very high. Even though the world may look upon me as a worthy person, I may not necessarily. So somebody did research and found out the successful person, the person who is called successful by the world, met with some people in private and asked them, how do you feel about yourself? You feel you're successful? Most people can say no. But everybody's expectation of themselves. And generally we don't measure our own expectation. So most people are suffering from this kind of complex anyway. And that's a common trait of human being. Except when it goes beyond a certain point, it becomes a problem. Then we have to deal with it. Then why do I feel sad? Or why do I feel disappointed? So maybe over expectation of myself, non-acceptance of myself. Beyond a certain point, non-acceptance, degree of non-acceptance. And that's answer to all these questions of self-acceptance. Means accepting gracefully my limitations. Graceful acceptance is a word, is a phrase from Pujya Swamiji. Not only acceptance, graceful acceptance. Acceptance, sukha, what means sukha here? No, we have to accept, no, not that. has given me many things. In this particular thing, this is what it is, okay? Maybe he knows what is going. And there must be a reason for that. Well, if I find myself lacking in some way, I have always the freedom to try to overcome that lack. But not blame myself for that lack. Freedom to overcome that lack. So, we become sad when we blame ourselves. Not just because we are limited. When we blame ourselves for the limitation, that is when we feel sad. There is no reason for me to blame myself because I am what I am. This is how God has made me. And in that sense, I am a unique person. Pujya Swamiji would say, you are unique. There is nobody like you. And so everybody enjoy your uniqueness in that sense. Ultimately, there is no, but that is Vedanta. Nobody is like you, nobody is other than you. Because you are a whole and complete being. So that's a different step. There is nobody like me. There are no two identical entities in this world, in the creation. That is really the omniscience of the Creator. And every piece is different. Every creation is different from the other. No two things are totally identical. No two leaves, no two flowers, no two things are exactly identical. Each one is unique. Outwardly they may look similar but not identical. And so I am not identical to anybody. I cannot be. I don't have to be. So my complex about, because I want to be identical to somebody, equal to somebody. Then if I become that, I want to be equal to somebody else. And so forth. There is no end to that. So respect yourself for what you are, as you are. That you may be perhaps not sufficient in a given aspect. That doesn't mean that you are insufficient in everything. We did not judge the whole from part. At the same time, freedom, what can I do about it? How can I improve? Can I change? That freedom we have. We should exercise that freedom.
I have a question, Swamiji. How can a person bring out one's creativity? Everybody is unique, so then, and the world is competitive. In that scope, how can one work on one's creativity?
In a competitive environment or with a competitive mind is difficult. So, self-acceptance is the primary requirement for being comfortable with myself. My creativity will manifest best when I am comfortable with myself. And that I am when I accept myself. Which means I accept my limitations. And I don't take the ownership of my limitations. I make a note of them and see what I can do. But self-acceptance makes you comfortable with yourself. Self-comfort is when your creativity and whatever it has
room to grow.
Chances manifest. You are the only child. We grew up in a family with certain number of siblings. Uncle, so a lot of comparisons go on. Even if your parents don't compare, an uncle will come, they'll compare you with my son. Any other complexes are created in you. Because their expectations from you, भाइयों બધા મોટા હોય નાના હોય જો પેલા કેટલું જલ્દી કરવું પેલા આમ કરવું પેલા તેમ કરવું ન થવું જોઈએ. Our parents don't know how to parent. So they think that they are they want to get the most of you by comparing. જો પેલો કેવો છે તારો કાકા નીકળો પેલો કેવો છે તું કેવો છે એટલે એમને એમ કેવો કોમ્પ્લેક્સ હોય વી મોટિવેટ ધીસ ફેલો બટ દેટ ક્રિએટ્સ અ કોમ્પ્લેક્સ બહુ કોમ્પ્લેક્સ ઊભા થાય આપણામાં તો આવી રીતે એક્સટેન્ડેડ ફેમિલીમાં તો ઉછેરતા હોય ઘણા લાભ પણ છે હવે ગેરલાભ પણ છે કેમ પેરેન્ટ્સ આર નોટ વેરી એજ્યુકેટેડ વિથ રેફરન્સ ટુ પેરેન્ટિંગ એન્ડ દે આર બિઝી દે ડોન્ટ હેવ ધેટ મચ ટાઈમ ઓલ્સો જલ્દી જલ્દી પતાવી દેવાના પછી આવું this is a way to get rid of the problem. What do you think?
Swamiji, society also has a way of marking what is success. What about that?
Sure. And you would accept it. The world has certain standard of success. You will accept them, respect them. And you may try to, achieve that success. But ultimately, we should know that success is an inner subjective phenomenon, not an objective entity. You cannot subject means this, success means this or that. Success means feeling good about myself. That's success. And that comes from self-acceptance. And comes from self-acceptance of my limitation. Self-acceptance. And the self-happiness. That is the true success.
So Swamiji, how do we incorporate this idea into our daily life? Daily we have to do something for this, at every step, or we may allot some time for such thinking, or what exactly
You
can be done?
may allot a few, say 10 minutes or so for reviewing and say these are the events likely to happen during the day. And basically, when I do something, I say karma yoga, and then my ego comes out, with its own complexes and the need for self-acceptance. And ego can accept itself only when it is successful, whatever success means for that person. So we can sort of self-retrospect that I don't need this habit of comparing myself with others and judging myself and then feeling inferior or superior, etc. So that habit will work. That's why you spend a few minutes and address the mind, look this mind. This, some main events are like to happen this day. And then this kind of situations may happen. This kind of conclusions will come, self-judgment will come. And mostly what happens is when we find ourselves successful, our expectation grows. Up to a point when I am become unsuccessful anyway, in my own perception. So recognize this tendency, which everybody has. Recognize our own self and educate the mind. You don't have to bash yourself unnecessarily. Enjoy what you have. Basically, enjoy yourself. That's the best sutra. Before that, enjoy what you have. And enjoy yourself. If you do that, that's all. But right now, you have set a lot of standards. When can I enjoy myself? When I have this rank. Enjoy myself when I have this, I have that. So that's what I have imposed upon myself. I become enjoyable only when these accomplishments are there. If I slowly relieve myself from those expectations, find as I am.
So what can the new standards be instead?
Standard is Ishvara's standard. Ishvara has created me and he's given me these abilities, given me these limitations and so forth. So we recognize that all Ishvara, I have not created. Neither have I created body nor have I created mind. And so I come with my knowledge, come with my limitations. Now, If I feel the need, I may want to overcome those limitations, I'm free to try that. But not by blaming myself. Bhagavan has done it, I haven't done it. The mind that I have also is given by Bhagavan. In that now I say, okay, I need to change, I need to do that. But the way we are brought up, etc., is to always, in some ways, to judge ourselves, look down upon ourselves. That's how the world motivates you. By always reminding of your limitations, make you feel little bad about it, so you want to do something. That is a way to motivate you in a negative way. That's what generally what world and parents also employ that method. Then we employ that method on ourselves.